All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to what is now, if I can keep track, I can't even keep track, 2.5 weeks into our Discovery Series. I am still on the road, so I apologize that I don't have my crazy cool setup. I now just have this basic closet behind me, but I'm visiting the parents for Thanksgiving. And Maddie and I, my wife, actually we have to set it all up every time, but we have a green screen here. We got the lights. We actually do have a whole setup that we can use. So excited to see everyone. If you can hear me, just let me know that you're here. Okay. Kedzie Morgan already on saying, I love Raewyn's presentations before we even get started. Thank you, Kedzie. We love the energy to get us rolling here. And yes, I always learn something from Ray myself, so it's really fun. But yeah, let us know if you are tuned in. Just say hello in the chat. I'll do some quick housekeeping stuff before we get into today. This is not going to be a 90-minute session. I promise we're not going over. Ev always lies and we go over. We can't for this one. Raewyn's a busy gal. So we will be ending on the hour. We do have something else for you guys today, and we are actually very proud of this one. It's not something that we've done ever before. We're going to be even wrapping this up, kind of putting a bow on it and using it in the future. It's our first ever live program comparison. So you guys have been asking for this probably for years indirectly. We always bring it up. It's not like we're avoiding it, but we put something together for you where we're going through all of it. IIN, FMU, IHP. We're going through each one and showing you guys what we think. So we have myself, Brandy Buscow, our COO on, and Jen Maleka. Jen Maleka goes to every conference that is out there, so she knows all of these programs like the back of her hand and has a lot of great things to show you about them, and then also some things that I wouldn't even say they're not great. It's just, hey, you wouldn't want to go here if you're looking for this specific thing. So as you guys know, our whole month has been about this transparency, honesty, helping you make an informed decision so that you can figure out which program is right for you. And we would like to welcome the many of you who have already decided on that. And the reason I know that you decided is because you joined us. And we appreciate you being here. Our Black Friday sale did start on November 10th. We joined apparently every other company in existence now that starts their Black Friday sale early. Ray, I was joking with everyone of our speakers this month. Do you remember the time that doesn't seem that far ago where Black Friday was like a day, maybe gosh forbid a weekend? And now I'm getting emails in October saying Black Friday has started. I'm like, what is going on? So we started November 10th. It ends end of the day, December 1st. And hey, to everyone tuning in, I'll show you guys on stream. I don't want to tell you my secret here, but I have figured out that if I show you on the stream, I think we all like seeing our names on stuff, and you seem to comment more if I do that. So say hello to Raewyn and to us, please. All right, so that's good until the end of the day on December 1st, and that is California time if you're not good with time zones. So 11:59 p.m. Pacific, our largest Black Friday sale in FDN history. We've been around since 2008, and this is the largest sale in history, $2,000 off. Technically speaking, if you pay in full, as over half of you that have come in this month so far have, you do get additional bonuses and discounts. You technically can get up to $3,500 off the course, and I promise you that won't be happening anytime soon. Reed was looking at us like, what are you guys doing? You guys are insane. So that's good for you. Bad for us afterwards. We better sell a lot of courses and then send it to the big man and let him know how well we did. So we're looking forward to having you guys in FDN. Today we're going to have Raewyn on. I normally do these very elongated bios for people. I haven't been doing that just because I want to get to the content. But for those that don't know Ray, she is the creator of Business in a Box. So for those of you that have been wondering about the business side, and we had Jen on earlier this month. Remember, we talked about, okay, this is an optional add-on that you can do once you buy the course. So Ray's Business in a Box falls into this whole category and this whole thing. It offers a specific service, and we are going to go through that today just so that you guys can understand the business side that we do help you with if you need it. And what I love about us, Ray, is we don't force anyone into it. You know, I get why some people are like, can we add all of this to the course? We do have some business stuff in the course. We've actually added more than ever before. But if you already have a full-time successful health coaching practice where you're doing $150K a year, listen, man, if I'm being straight up, you add on FDN, you're golden. I don't think you need any extra business training in the immediate moment. But if you're someone that says, hey, I know I want to do this as a business, I'm inspired after this month, I've never sold lemonade at a lemonade stand, though, we do have that optional add-on to help you. But we're not going to force people into it that don't need those things. So hello to everyone. Great to see you. And I'll finally shut up and welcome our guest directly. Ray, thank you so much for coming on and doing this with us. I know you're busy this month, so we appreciate it.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks, everybody. I'm loving this new setup, like where I can see all of the comments running
Yes.
along the side. Like that's really, really cool. Before it used to feel like I was going blind. I didn't know what was going on, like who was there, if anyone was there at all. Am I just talking to you? But now I'm talking to all of you. So this is really, really cool that I can see who's there. So welcome. I'm seeing a couple of familiar faces. Alexis, I see Russ, couple of cool people who I see on a regular basis in the AFDNP group. So that's pretty cool. So today we're going to be talking about business support, and I just want to get my screen shared.
Sure.
All right, let's make sure I can share an entire screen. Here we go. Screen 2.
And I will bring that in for you. It's looking good to me, so I will
All
bring it in.
right.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing the read thing. Like, fantastic. So, for all of those who don't know much about me, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background into my story. So, Evan's done a really nice job of doing a quick intro, but I'm the former head of corporate well-being for a global bank. I lived in the UK for about 22 years before moving to the US. And during that time, I was in London. I was running this corporate well-being program. I was doing a lot of speaking work, but I epically burnt out, right? And I realized very quickly, like what I thought was healthy wasn't actually healthy for me because at that point in my life, I was a vegetarian. I was living on skinny blueberry muffins and skinny lattes, thinking that that's what healthy was, and going to the gym and working out, going for a run in the morning and then going to a spin class in the evening and doing hot yoga somewhere in between all of that, thinking that, if you're skinny, then you're healthy, not realizing like what that was doing to my hormones. So thank God for functional medicine because that's what saved me from all of the various diagnoses that I received by seeing traditional medical doctors. I saw gastroenterologists, endocrinologists. There are a couple other ologists in there, probably a psychologist or two. And they all said, well, there's nothing physically wrong with you. It must be in your head. And that was really shocking to me because I thought I had a pretty healthy mindset about most things. I was just a, power through type A personality. And I wouldn't accept that I was just going to have to live with my stomach turning inside out every single day, and not being able to predict what was going on, like if I would need a bathroom at the drop of a dime. So fast forward to 2016. I'm going to show you this really sad picture of myself, right? Here, this is a photo of me on my way into work 2 weeks after I had broken my ankle. And it was in January in England, which is a terrible time. It's freezing cold. And I was hobbling into work to my desk job on crutches. And I was doing 60 to 80-hour weeks at that point back then. And I was so motivated at that point to help people that it didn't matter if it was at the expense of my own health. But as you can see from this photo, I was not thriving. This is me in the hallway of my apartment on my way into work. And my flatmate took a photo of me because he was like, I think there's something really wrong with what you're doing because you do not look like, you don't look like the embodiment of wellness. So being head of wellness didn't really mean anything because I was actually a workaholic and a people pleaser, and I had zero boundaries. I did not know how to say no. So that means I would just take on more and more and more work at the expense of my own health. I don't know if anybody else here can relate, but I'm hoping that you can. So this is what was the big turning point for me and my life, and realizing like I had to do something different. I could not continue living the way that I was living. And at the end of the day, like I ended up, quitting that job and retraining in functional medicine. And at the time, I retrained as a functional medicine health coach, which is a different program to the FDN program. I worked as part of a collaborative care team with an IFM doctor. So IFM is Institute for Functional Medicine. So you have to be a licensed provider to be an IFM practitioner. So I had to work with a licensed provider and be the supporting health coach. And there's, what's interesting about that time in my life is that I learned a lot. I learned the differences between the two methodologies, the IFM way of doing things and then the FDN way of doing things. And I would say, like, I was sitting down writing up all of these long reports at the end of every client session that was taking me sort of like an hour to an hour and a half, sometimes longer, like if I had to put together a supplement protocol for someone. And then what ended up happening once I became an FDN, life instantly lightened up. Like I just became a lot happier, a lot freer. Um, I realized like I didn't have to work myself into the ground in order to be, to be successful. And you're going to learn a lot about that once you take the program, because you're going to learn like how to be efficient because of the way that the um, the labs are set up. You're not going to be doing one lab at a time, which was the way that I was initially trained coming from another program, right? So I learned how to do, gut health problems, look only at the gut. With the FDN constellation of healing opportunities, the way that you're trained is to look at like, you're looking for an intruder in every room of your house, right? So you're going to look at the gut, you're going to look at the liver, the gallbladder, you're going to look at the stress and hormones, you're going to look at food sensitivities, you're going to look at how they're eating, all that stuff. And that's all going to happen at the same time. So that in itself, that system was something that I hadn't used before. And it was something that was getting me better results than what I had been doing previously. But at the same time, I was still spending a ton of time like sending out intake forms, uploading labs. And I realized like the way that I was doing business wasn't really helping me at all. Like I was still in that space where I'm going to have to be spending hours and hours in prep and then afterward, right? So the prep time was taking about an hour to an hour and a half per client. And then the after, like writing up the protocol, was still taking a significant amount of time. Now, just to go back a little bit with my story. So when I first started out working with the IFM doctor, like I was working in also a chiropractor's office, right? And I had people who were in there who, they'd come in, like they tried to book me in back to back with clients. So that's like seeing someone from like 12 p.m. through to 7 or 8 p.m. in the evening. And that was really unsustainable. Like seeing 5 people back to back or just having like, 20 minutes in between as a break was really, really hard. And I know nobody here has gotten into this business to be trapped in a room without sunlight for 8 hours a day, because I had already left that. So when I started doing that all over again after I had become an FMCA, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going back to my old job. Like I don't want to end up doing this all over again, where I am stuck indoors, chained to my desk. What I wanted was freedom. And as FDNs, what I want to tell you is that you have the potential to have so much freedom in your life if you learn, one, how to niche down so that you're attracting clients effortlessly and your marketing is magnetic. And then if you can actually automate and streamline a lot of the processes that you're taught in the course, because you have to do it manually to begin with to understand, what each step represents. But then once you figure that out, it's like, okay, how quickly can I turn this into a system that is streamlined and automated? And that's essentially what business in a box is. And that's how it was born, because I wanted freedom back, right? So freedom is probably one of my number one values. And it's important to have automations, but it's really important for you to actually understand what your values are, because when you're building your business, you need to know what it is you want out of it. And it can't be, I just want clients. Like you need to figure out the kinds of clients. So I think it's important. You might have heard this already echoed over the last 3 weeks, that you've got people and you need to know who you are, know your values, know your why, know your support network, know what your ideal day looks like. This was huge for me when I was starting out, because when I realized like I was falling away from what I thought my ideal day was going to look like, that's when I was able to kind of stop myself and be like, hey, I'm falling into the same trap that I was in doing the corporate wellness job. Now I'm like in a chiropractor's office and I'm still not seeing daylight, and I'm still getting up, like still going home in the dark or going to work in the dark. And like, that's not what I want out of this new chapter of my life. And that's what this is going to be for most of you. Like most of you are probably coming into this from some other career, and this is a new chapter in your life. So you have to be intentional about what it is that you're looking to create as part of this new chapter in your life. So having a vision for what your ideal day is and setting yourself up for success, that's really going to be a critical part of building out the kind of practice that can be sustainable, that is going to help you create repeatable results, right? So I love teaching this sort of stuff. This is actually what I do as part of my one-on-one mentoring. So when you graduate from the FDN program, you do have the option to work with me and also with Jen. I offer one-on-one mentoring, and if you've heard Jen before, she has Practitioner Business Essentials, and she's got this wonderful group container where you can like bounce ideas off of each other and all that great stuff. But I like to help people in a one-on-one capacity because I realize, like, from my perspective, like that's what I had needed when I had just started out. Like I wished I had had what I'm offering people now because I didn't have it. I kind of had a business coach, but I sort of met with her once a month and she didn't really understand the online world at all because she had a brick and mortar. She had like one of the first organic grocery stores in the UK. So she only understood brick and mortar. She didn't really get what I was trying to do by creating systems and online platforms and all that great stuff. So I actually just want to check, like, while I'm talking about this, how many people are familiar with, online platforms? I got to be able to see you
And,
guys.
well, Ray, I can put it back on, just letting you know. The only downside about this very cool platform, about a 30 to 60-second delay on those questions.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I would give it a second because I'm really curious to hear what they think, like if they are into online platforms and if they know what it is. Like if you've worked with your own practitioner before, let's say you have been working on your own health, right? You probably would have worked with somebody who has got like something a patient portal that you would have to log into.
Mhm.
And that's basically what I'm talking about here. Like having some kind of place where people can sign up, fill out their intake forms online, maybe book an appointment with you. Your labs get their labs get uploaded and all that kind of great stuff. So Talisha says no experience. That's okay. Even if you haven't been a patient, or a client of another functional practitioner, there's probably some element of like, okay, well, maybe having patient portal. Yes, a patient portal is basically what we are talking about here, right?
Ray,
Yeah.
we've presented enough. I've never cut you off. I got it for this one. We have Dawn, who just said, "Awesome, so excited! I signed up and started yesterday for FDN, and just started Module 2. She's been on all the events this month, and
Oh,
so
awesome.
Dawn, I never want to be pushy, because I know that you said in the beginning that you already kind of knew after 3 or 4 events. So we are so glad to have you. Welcome, and thanks for still making it on here. And Ray, I apologize, but I think you would
No,
maybe
no
give me some grace
worries.
on that one.
Well, now I can see the question. I saw Dawn's. She's
Oh,
excited.
good.
I hope this is exciting you too, because like this is such a crucial part of like being a really successful practitioner, because we think that being a practitioner means that, oh, I got to know how to do all the lab stuff, but you actually have to wear a little bit more, couple more hats. Like you have to actually know who you're helping. You've got to actually become like a little bit of a marketing guru for yourself. Like you've got to actually understand, who is my ideal client? Where do they hang out? What do I need to do to find where they're hanging out? And how do I reach them and connect with them? And do I promote myself on social media? Do I work in a brick and mortar place, in a practice? Do I rent a room from, let's say, a spa, or connect with my local physical therapist, chiropractor, med spa, whatever? Like, so there's lots of avenues that you can go down. But the automation piece here that I'm talking about, like this actually came to life during COVID for me. So during COVID, um, when I had to walk away from like working in the brick and mortar and all that other stuff, I was just like, you know what am I really going to do to be able to reach people and make sure that they are being supported, not just when they see me one on one, but what happens between my sessions, right? So between sessions is usually when people probably need more support. So if you're seeing someone, the way that we're kind of taught is like maybe see them once every couple of weeks. So when you're doing the FDN program and you graduate, you realize like I might not need to see people once a week. I might be seeing them once every 2 weeks, and you're probably going to be seeing them between 45 minutes to about an hour. So I realized like I was spending a lot of time repeating myself over and over with every client that was coming in. So what came about as a result of that was the business in a box. And I'm going to show you a little bit of what it looks like. So it is a done for you automation. There are customizable templates. There is training that comes along with it. So once a month, I will meet with you in a group, and we will go through all of like any questions that you have. We do a live Q&A. I show you how to use it, but there are also video tutorials that are included as part of it, so that you are not doing it blind, customizing it on your own. You're actually learning how to turn this into something that works for you and for your clients. So niching is important, right? Like that's why I was like, before you even get into all this, like you really need to know who it is that you're helping, because then you'll understand how to turn it into something for you. So it was based off of my own Heal Your Gut, Heal Your Hormones program that I worked on with my own one-on-one clients. And I basically allowed FDN to use that and to rebrand it and make it look like theirs. And then you get to do the exact same thing, because there's this wonderful little tool called Canva. I don't know how many people are familiar with Canva yet, but Canva was the thing that really was like revolutionary, because once you create a template in Canva, you could share that across multiple people, different people can use it, and then they can customize it and turn it into their own thing. So all of the failure to launch anxieties that people would get about, like, I don't know how to share a document with someone. I don't know how to, how do I give them the dress protocol? And I'm hoping everybody here knows what dress is by now, because we're 3 weeks in. So how do I share the dress protocol with them? The idea behind this is that you're going to do it, but you're going to drip it out for them, so that you're not having them drink from a fire hose the minute they start working with you. So they're not going to get everything all at once and be like completely overwhelmed like deer in the headlights. They're actually going to be, you're going to be drip, like sequencing this all out for them, so that they can actually absorb it better, and that there are videos that go along with it. And the videos are basically just whatever's in the workbook, whatever you customize it to. You're able to then just go and do a screen record, and you tell your client what's in there. So you will change it up. You'll put your own colors, your own things on it. And I'd be happy to show you guys that in a second if you want to see that. But I think it's really important to be aware of the fact that this is all, by the way, hosted on Biocanic. So you can see it says powered by Biocanic Program Builder. So Biocanic was the platform that I ended up using, but I didn't start out there. And in fact, my very first iteration of this was pretty sad. Like I was using YouTube to host the videos. And I was delivering them in an email format like back in the day. And then I moved on to using the Get Healthy platform. Healthy was also a similar kind of like Biocanic type platform where you could, schedule appointments and embed videos and all of that kind of stuff. But I wasn't getting a lot of traction with it. I wasn't getting a lot of success with it. My clients weren't getting the notifications that there was a new module for them to see. So what you're doing with an automation like this is that you're creating an online learning experience for the client that is supporting the work that you're doing in real life, in the sessions, in the your one-on-one sessions. And the beauty of it is that you could turn it also into a group program. You could have this exact same content be used in multiple ways. And that's actually what ended up happening with this. I used it as part of a DIY program, a group program, a one-on-one program, and now it's it's like a B2B. Now it's going like from me going to other practitioners. So it was B2C in 3 forms, and now it's B2B. And what I ended up doing with some of it too was that I actually turned the workbook into an actual book that I give my clients when they start to work with me. So you can print it on something called Lulu. You guys will probably learn more about that when you get into the course, because you're all going to be like, how do I print out the course slides? And we get everybody to do it through Lulu because it's pretty cheap. So I was able to print the workbooks that were my version of it for my clients and give it to them when they started to work with me, so they had something physical they could write into. So one piece of content is now used in about 5 different ways. And when you've got something like this that you get to put your own stamp on, then you're able to actually help more people, because the workbook, I could easily turn it into something that I could sell as well, so that it's something that if I wanted to sell it on Amazon or wherever, that is completely possible. I could hand it out at lectures that I'm doing. If I'm doing a presentation somewhere, I can offer the workbook, and that functions also as a leader product. So that's something that gets people into your ecosystem because they're already buying from you. So there's lots of ways that this business in a box, this one piece of content, can be used for you as well. And that's what I want for you, because I don't want you to end up the way that I had ended up, where I was all burnt out and exhausted. And it took me 7 years to build something. Now you get to benefit from the 7 years of me building this, because I've done all the work for you. All you have to do is just you buy it, and then you just put your own spin on it, your own branding, your own wording, and all of that will be dependent on the niche that you're working on. So it doesn't ever have to even say heal your hormones or whatever. You could call it, rest for success or something along those lines. It could be all about sleep or something. So you can get creative, use Chat GPT to help you come up with a catchy name or title based on your audience and give it a brand new name. The third thing on here, by the way, that you see, so this is called the Glossary of Gut Health ebook. Now, because gut health is such a foundational part of what we do as FDN practitioners, we basically do we do the metabolic mucosal barrier assessment, the GI map, the stress and hormones panel, the metabolic wellness panel, and the MRT. Now, the gut health test, there's usually a lot of terms on there that people don't really understand. They see all these different names that people don't get. So what I did was create a glossary version of this that, again, you can put your own branding on, because there are tons of words that, like, when you're going to meet with someone for the results and recommendations, you don't want them to be staring at the words on the lab all confused. Because so what I do is, like, I send this out, I have it timed so that it gets sent to the client before they meet for the results and recommendation session. And that in itself is a game changer, because then they're educated, they're empowered, and ultimately that is what you want. You want clients who are going to be empowered, right? You do not want them to be dependent on you. You do not want them to be waiting for you to give them direction. You want them to be taking action on their own health and taking back ownership of their health, because the current medical model, as we all know, unfortunately, it's really great if you have a gunshot wound, but it is not great if you've got something chronic going on. And in my case, that was true, because they were not able to help me. They were like, well, we're just washing our hands of you. It must be in your head. So the Glossary of Gut Health ebook and all of these other things are designed to empower your clients so that they are not wandering around in the dark, and that you are helping educate them on what's going on with their bodies and all the different, in terms of bacteria and all the things that are going on inside of their microbiome. That's what that is for. And you get to put your own spin on it, put your own logos, all that great stuff. All right, let me see if there are any questions, because this screen got really small when I had to share.
Okay, we did have one. Here you go. Well, by the way, Talisha said something really nice, and I don't think you could see it. So she said, thank God for people who are way smarter than me. I've tried to do all these things by teaching myself for 2 years. This is incredible.
Oh, thanks, Talisha. So no, business, and Dawn's question is perfect. It is, so Business in a Box itself, it is a one-time only fee to purchase all of the templates and everything. The automation itself, though, on the platform that it lives on Biocanic, that platform, that patient portal that you would be using, that's where you have a monthly subscription fee. So that you just have to factor stuff like that into the cost of doing business, because you don't want to be thinking about, like, oh my gosh, it's going to cost me whatever it is, $65 a month as an FDN. Like, you just have to think about, okay, cost of doing business for me to have things that support my clients, that help them get results. You're just going to have to build all of that kind of stuff into your pricing. And I mean, I can show you something really quickly if you're open to it. What do you guys see? Can you see this? Yeah.
So one of Raewyn's famous sheets. Here we go. People love these.
I know they love when I do the pricing sheet. It's so crazy, right? So, all right, I'm sharing my pricing sheet with you guys. So, all right. So when you've got like a business, you got to be thinking about things like overheads, whether you had a brick and mortar, whether you're renting a room somewhere and you got to keep the lights on, and you got to pay for the internet, and you got to pay, whatever, other types of fees that go along with electricity, all that, utilities. You're going to have overheads. So something like Biocanic, something like Business in a Box, something like a website, something like a business phone number, using Loom to screen record. Like these, there's a free version of Loom, but you might want the paid one, because then you can edit and all that kind of stuff. But these are all things that you have to factor into the cost of doing business. So I have like this sheet called the Money Matters sheet, that when I work with my one-on-one clients, when they graduate out of FDN, we sit down and we work out what their costs are. So I'm just going to give you a little preview of what this is like. So we work out things like your taxes. We work out, like you should be putting aside 30% of whatever it is you make. So your business overheads, that's what this first thing is: your website, your technology stack, any ongoing training and coaching, and then the day-to-day running of your practice. You can run lean. So this is lean, which is like you pay $10 a year for the domain name for your website. You pay for your Biocanic, right? Then you have website hosting, which costs sometimes like $15 a month. And maybe you have a business phone number, which is like $10 a month. So I have it all here. This is the annual cost of everything. So annual cost, and you have it adding up over here, about $2,000 almost to run your business very lean, right? And then you have things like your household overheads, right? So mortgage, car, internet, cell. And again, this is when you work with me, we sit down, we map it all out specifically for you so you can punch in your own numbers and it adds it all up for you automatically. So your household overheads are this much, your business overheads are this much, right? And which is actually not a lot of money to run a business. Like $2,000 a year is not a lot of money to run a business. So monthly, you just divide it by 12, like your monthly costs, right? If you factor in things like having a platform and all that great stuff, it's about $158. So that's really not a lot of money. And then you work out what your taxes are, because a third of that, is going to go, you put it aside for your taxes, right? Well, obviously your revenue is what you put aside for your taxes. So you'd add this plus your revenue. So right now, but we don't have any revenue because we haven't calculated that. We're literally just costing things like, factoring in like, what does it cost to run the business? So you could potentially do a lot of things for free where you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't even have to have a business phone number. I recommend it because sometimes people want to text you, but you don't necessarily want them texting you on your own phone because that can get a little bit disruptive. But just, if you turn that to zero, then you would see like, oh, wow, like it's even cheaper for me to have, my annual costs are even cheaper. It's less than $2,000, right? So having something like this is really important for you to be able to figure out, like when you're doing your cost per client acquisition, when you're acquiring a client, this is how you know how much it costs to acquire that person. And if you start running things like ads or anything else like that, you can factor all of that in here, like how much it costs you to put that in there. And that helps you figure out the cost of doing business. So back to, actually, I think this might be a nice one for you guys to see as well. So let's say you had an annual income goal, right? And in my old life, I wanted to be able to make my old salary. I want to be like, I just want to make 150K, which is what I did before, but I don't want to make it working 12 months of the year with 3 weeks vacation. I want 8 weeks off. I want to have August off and I want to have December off. And so that means I'm going to be working 44 weeks a year. And that means, will I be doing my old hours, which was my old hours is like 80 hours a week, but let's say I'm doing a 40-hour work week, right? Let's say I'm doing a 40-hour work week. How much of that am I going to be spending in my business? Which is, this stuff like doing programs, one-on-one sessions, group sessions, lab tests, presentations, all that. How much of my time am I spending in my business? And then how much of my time am I spending on my business? So I worked out that like, okay, if I'm time blocking and I'm doing a Monday morning, I'm spending 3 hours working, on my business, doing admin and taking care of, various things that require my attention, ordering labs, all that kind of stuff. That's happening, a couple hours a week, right? A couple hours on a Monday, maybe a couple hours on a Wednesday. And, you can do something like this to really figure out like, how am I going to be spending my time? How am I being intentional? And where can I free up time? And where can I outsource time? And so this is obviously, there's a lot going on here with regard to marketing, because I see email marketing, there's outreach, networking, going out, meeting people in real life, podcasts, summits, webinars, all ways to get your name out there, to be in front of people, for them to see you. Joint ventures in real life is a great thing. I think that's a fantastic way, like how I worked with the IFM doctor and the chiropractor. Like that's a great way for you to create a funnel, a referral network for you. But if you don't want to do that and you don't want referral partners in real life, you can easily get on the FDN podcast with Detective Ev, show up to different summits and webinars, like, reach out to people and say you want to get on there, make friends, with people who've got bigger lists than you, show up to their programs, show up and support them, build community And, I don't know if you guys have heard this expression before, but your network is your net worth, right? So Evan probably knows that really, really well. But
it is facts, baby. It is facts.
it's a fact. Like, the more people that you are connected to who are more aligned with what you're doing, they're more likely to help you. Just by you showing up for them, they're more likely to want to show up for you. So building relationship is going to be a huge part of you establishing yourself as an entrepreneur, as a successful practitioner. And then the automations and all of that other great stuff will be there to support once you have a nice influx of people. Because my days in the chiropractor's office, I did not like having 5 clients back to back. Like, I thought I was going to die because it was so hard. Like, you're scrambling from one person to the next, you're concept shifting, which is really, really hard when you've just dealt with somebody who is, let's say, dealing with insomnia, and then they send you someone else who's got problems with constipation, right? Now, we know as FDNs that they are related, but one might have a totally emotional component to it, whereas the other one might not. So you're having to kind of like scramble between these two types, and which is why niching is so important, because when you're working in the chiropractor's office or whoever, let's say you're partnering with a med spa or whatever, you're not necessarily niching. You're just taking whoever they send to you, right? When you niche and when you get really, really clear on who it is that you can help, then it becomes really effortless and easy. And that's why when you have one program, right, that you can use in multiple formats, so I can help people dealing with their gut health, either one-to-one or in a group, or as a DIY kind of version where they can order their own labs, and then they've got maybe a one-off session with me, and then they're supported by the videos and the workbooks and that kind of thing. Then you don't have to keep recreating content and recreating packages for multiple people. You just have this one thing, and this is you stay in your lane. So for me, it was like, I'm sticking with healing the gut and the hormones. I'm not going to go outside of that, because I don't want to have to be inventing a new program for every new client who shows up. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just going to check the chat and
Let
see.
me put it back up for you. Here you go.
Yeah, let me see. I like to check in the chat.
We did have some questions though, if you want to get to those, so I'll highlight them for you.
Yeah,
Here we go. Okay. Is this part of the FDN course or additional? So it is a separate thing that can be purchased. And again, guys, the reason that we do this is because not everyone, we would never want to force someone into something that they don't need. Some people come into FDN with pretty darn impressive business experience. So we don't want to have to make them do that. But these are add-on things that you can do. And then, Raewyn, I'm so sorry that I don't know this offhand, because I know that if they were to buy the business add-on after buying, they'll get the business in a box and Jen's thing, but you can still technically buy business in a box even independently, right?
You can, but you know what's really special about this week though, and for Black Friday, if you buy business in a box along with the course, you're actually getting a 1-hour setup session with me. So I will sit down. Yeah, they're good. Yeah, that's something that we thought we would throw in to sweeten the deal, because I know a lot of people are overwhelmed by like, I have to go do this on my own. I'm like, well, actually, yes, there are tutorials, but you can actually sit with me. I can make sure your biomechanic is set up correctly. I can make sure all that kind of great stuff is set up correctly, and that you know how to use Canva as well. Because I get a lot of questions like, how do I change all of the fonts? And I'm like, let me show you. Yeah. So stuff like that, like you'd actually be supported completely once you, if you decide that that's what you want to do this week. It's only happening for Black Friday. It is not happening any other time of year. So if you were going to wait, I would say, don't wait.
And Ray, just to be clear, because I don't want anyone getting upset. So there have been a lot of people that have purchased FDN this month. I'm not sure how many have gotten the business thing. We would honor it for them if they've already purchased this month, right? We're not going to punish them for purchasing earlier.
No, not awesome. At all. Absolutely not. We don't want to punish anybody. We want everybody to benefit. So I might take this down. I'm seeing a lot of questions in here about like, I get so overwhelmed with calls and picking my niche, thinking hormone and gut health. However, I have men already asking about what I do. Yeah. Do you want to work with men? That's like, who do you want to work with? Now, are you still there? I just saw this thing say connection lost. Still here?
You're lagging a little bit, but you're good and I can hear you. So I wouldn't worry too much right now.
All right. Cool. So I see Talisa, her heart is to capture and help whole families, and she's struggling how to niche down. My passion is generational health is life, so it feels way too big. Now, to me, that's not too big, because this is why I like to work with women, because exactly why I started doing this type of work. I thought like if I could tap into working with women basically unlock the generational all generational health, because they are working usually with they will help their husbands, they will help their children, they will help their parents, they will help their work colleagues, right? I think like working with women is the way to go forward, whether that is working on, I mean, a lot of them there's a lot of vanity with women too. So it's kind of like they're also an easy niche because they want to have glowing skin and they want to, they usually want to have a flat tummy. So if they're having any of those issues to begin with, whether it's acne, eczema, psoriasis, or they're dealing with IBS or SIBO or something along those lines, you start helping them. If you start actually tapping into helping them fix all of that, and they are already married and they've got kids or whatever, they're going to start cooking better. They're going to start eating better, and everyone else around them is going to start eating better too. And I have a real life example of this, that I was working with this lady who was a retired nurse. She was in her 60s. She actually was not my ideal client because she didn't know how to use a computer. So when I was trying to like show her all this stuff, like, you have to log in, she's like, well, I don't even have a computer. I have an iPad. But what was great about her, despite her not being able to use a computer and despite all of that, when she started eating for her metabolic type, which is something you will learn about in the course, she had been struggling to lose weight for about 25 years. Like, I'm not joking. She actually had to take early retirement because her breathing was so heavy. She couldn't walk properly. She would just like get exhausted and out of breath. She'd had breast cancer. So when we started working together, it was maybe about 5-6 years after cancer. And within the first of eating for her metabolic type, she lost 7 pounds. And by the 3 months, right, 3 months into our program, she and her husband, because she was the one who was doing the cooking, they had collectively lost about 60 pounds. So this is why I like working with women. And I think like, if you think, oh, how do I niche down? Like, you start with like, okay, well, who's going to be the one who's going to unlock generational health? And it's going to be women, because men love them, but sometimes they're a little bit slow on the uptake with like making changes with their health. Not all of them. Evan's obviously not one of those, because he drove to California to like figure out his
Ray,
health.
think about it though. I was sick for over a decade, and it took the 7th diagnosed condition. And if I'm being honest, it's so funny. It was cystic acne. I had an incurable inner ear disease, but it was cystic acne that was more motivating because, I mean, you were very politically correct about it a moment ago, but you're getting into the real side of marketing, right? It's like, yeah, sell women youthfulness or something that's going to do that. Sell men status or something like that. But also, even as a man, you don't want cystic acne everywhere, right? So you can also sell me that too.
Totally.
Yes.
You want to show up to meetings feeling like, oh my gosh, everyone's staring at my face.
Yeah.
Or they're staring, or my stomach's making a lot of noise while I'm in a meeting, which was actually me. I would go to meetings and my stomach would be like making the worst sounds. And I'm kind of like, I cannot continue like this. Everyone can hear, so, and obviously, unfortunately, medicine could not help me. So, so I'm seeing all these wonderful questions here, like, okay,
I don't want to hear. Sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off. We missed some though from the beginning, so I put them down below for you right here. I'll highlight them. Yes. So this one we did miss. If you have no business experience, is the business in a box sufficient to get up and running, or would you need the one-on-one mentoring? I mean, you get one if you buy this month anyway, or before Black Friday. But
you do get mentoring. You get one-on-one mentoring session with me if you basically buy it this week, right? Like as part of Black Friday. So you probably get enough to kind of get going with that. But I think niching is going to be a really, really big part of what you do. Like if you're clear on who it is that you serve, then you can just do this once and you don't have to do it multiple times. But nothing's wrong with doing it multiple times either. Just saying as well, because you probably are going to be like, I'm not really sure who I want to work with. But I think like while you're going through the training of the course, it's important for you to start thinking about that kind of thing. Like, who is it that I actually want to help? Even though we know that all of the labs can help all of the people, because we know it, like it doesn't matter what condition someone shows up with, whether it's asthma or acne or perimenopause, like we know that those 5 labs, they unlock that hidden constellation of healing, right? So that part, I think, if you're into like, well, I want to help everybody, and you'll figure it out. You're going to figure out who it is that you're going to help, because the 5 labs can help pretty much anyone. But I think it's just really important to think about while you're going through the training, where is it that you're going to end up? In my case, I think I told you guys, like I started off with people who did not know how to use the internet very well. So, and that was a little bit tricky. So that I pivoted, and 2020 was when I was like, you know what, I need to be able to completely just work on people who are like me, who are in corporate, who are kind of burning out and dying and feeling like they couldn't peel themselves, they couldn't get out of bed, no amount of coffee was getting them going. And even though they thought they were being healthy, because that was my thing, they were already health conscious people, like people who already probably trying to eat a certain way, taking supplements, exercising. Like that was my niche. Like I wanted to be like health conscious women who were high performers, but were feeling held back by their bodies. Right. So you can think about that a little bit. Jen's program is incredible for that. PBE is amazing for helping you nail your niche. Right. So I think if you wanted to think like, okay, like I'm going to start with PBE and then I want to get into, once I have that under my belt, then get into business in a box, or you can buy them as a bundle, because that's the thing that's happening right now. If you sign up for the course, right, Evan?
Yes, that is correct. And I'm sorry if this is too late now. Dawn had asked, it was about like midway through your presentation. I don't remember. What is the chat you had just mentioned? It might have been a GPT or something.
Oh, yeah, I said chat GPT. Yeah. Okay. So chat GPT, you can use it to help you kind of like build out, like what does my ideal client want, that kind of thing, or like creating the title for your new, because right here, I have it, Heal Your Hormones workbook or whatever, right? So when you start working, you might want to come up with a much fancier, sexier name than Heal Your Hormones. You might, make a baby or something along those lines. And then that is a really clear niche. People are like, oh, wow, she wants to help women make babies. Like everybody knows who that's for, right? So right now, Heal Your Hormones, maybe it's even a little vague, but mine was Heal Your Gut and Heal Your Hormones, right? Mm-hmm. So, okay. I'm going to keep going on, if that's okay with you guys. Would that be okay to keep going?
Yeah, well, you have 13 minutes. You're good.
Do we have I feel like
we have other questions too, if you want to do those.
Yeah. So can you purchase now and get the coaching after graduating? Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole point. The whole point is that you will be able to use this once you are, you're ready to go. Then you'll have like the one-off. We'll just get it set up for you together.
Right. Okay. You're so funny. I promise you. I'm going to highlight the questions for you up here so that you don't have to go into the chat.
Oh, I'm like scrolling away.
No, you're good. You're good. I got you. Because then it keeps it in order. Yeah, it is a concierge service for you. So there's a nice comment, though. I'm a trainee and I love this program. The way that Reed teaches is so effective. Can't wait to start working with and accepting clients. Thank you so much, Dina, for sharing that. Question, though, from Dina. Also, she said, thanks so much. Great presentation. How does this compare to Better Health?
I'm trying to think. I might actually have like a slide on that. Let me find it. Let me find it, Dina. Because there are quite a few platforms that are out there already. So let me see what we got. Do I have Better Health? Yeah, I do actually have Better Health. So hang on.
Thanks.
I do have Better Health on my slides. I'm just going to skip forward a little bit, okay?
Yep. And if I'm sorry, only because I had taken away from you so we can see your lovely face before I thought we were done. If you just can reshare it, you could click H for that or the button that you clicked before.
Oh, okay. So let me go back. Here we go. All right. You guys can see that.
Yep. I'm bringing that up for you right now. There you go.
So how does Biocanic compare to Better Health? So I have like a few of these here.
Of course you have this.
Yeah, I have a few. Yeah, making sure that we're covered, right? Yep. So the thing that's great about it is like when you're doing the FDN program, you're going to be learning on things like Excel spreadsheets, which you'll have to, sometimes there's a lot of manual stuff going on where you have to kind of like tally up your scores. But with this, like the self-assessments, like it will do it automatically for you. It integrates with a CRM, so that when a CRM is a client relationship management platform. So that's when you like want to do like email newsletters and you want to do maybe like a comment to DM setup like on Instagram or something where someone says comment blah, 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 and I'll send you my link to blah, blah, blah. This Biocanic integrates with CRMs that do stuff like that. What have we got going on here? The data, well, first of all, this is actually the number one thing that it differentiates Biocanic across all platforms. One, it basically, every lab that we upload, right, whether it's blood work, whether it's a functional lab, hair tissue mineral analysis, it basically extrapolates the data out of it. And then it gives you this fantastic functional spreadsheet. It's called a functional summary. And I'm actually going to show you what it looks like, because I think it's like too silly to not show you. All right, here we go. So you can see my screen again.
Yes, yep, really cool. Yep.
Yeah, this is my biomechanic, right? And this is me. So I'm my own client. So that's one of the best things you could do is just make yourself your own client. You can add things like a session tracker in there, the FDN metabolic chaos scorecard, which is something that we use with clients that you can basically track what someone's doing with that over time. So if you send it out every 6 weeks or every 4 weeks or whatever, their scores will update and you can see a visual representation of it. They can order their supplements directly from the dashboard. And then the part that I was just talking about, the functional summary. Now I have a lot of markers on here. It doesn't have to be as complicated as that, right? Like mine's complicated because I've added everything to it. But this is the thing I was talking about, the functional summary. So when someone uploads their labs or you upload their labs for them, it's going to give you this entire snapshot of what's going on with their health across all the labs, like the food sensitivity, the gut health, the hormonal health, for me, it's a hair tissue, metabolic wellness assessment, minerals, all that great stuff, even things like toxins and all that. It gets pulled out from the labs and Biomechanic does it for you. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is basically upload the labs where it says add new lab, as simple as that. Literally like add a new lab, type in the first 3 letters of the lab. So let's say it's like GI map, right? GI map there. And then you find it on your desktop, wherever it is on your computer. And then you decide if it's going to be viewable to the client or not. So before you meet with a client, you might not necessarily want to give them the lab if you have like a week or something between when it comes in and when you meet with them. So you could just say not viewable to the client and then you upload it. And once it gets uploaded, then it's extrapolated out into here. Right. So when you go to see any new client, this is basically like charting, like if you were in a medical office, and you work with a physician or you work in some sort of place where they have like physical charts, like this is your online version of a chart. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and people are. I'm not skipping questions, but this is relevant right now. So someone said, "Wait, does Biomechanic automatically do this?"
Yes, it does automatically do this. That's what's so freaking cool about it. In addition to the automatic program that is business in a box, like it automatically does that. It also automatically, and I think this might blow your noodles too. Like this is the fun part. I mean, when I started, so I came from using another platform, right? I was using Get Healthy. I did that for 5 years and it was very hard. I think I said that my clients never saw anything that I was sending them. Like they would never get the notifications that there was a video waiting for them. So you could track and see like who's opening what. Nobody was opening anything I was sending them. So all this work that I had done building it all out, no one saw it, which was really frustrating because then I am repeating myself in sessions. But when I put it into Biomechanic, like my success rate with what was going on with people was just like so much. So in here, this is my calendar, right? So you have this call a self-booking calendar. I can block out the time. So Biomechanic has a calendar built into that. It connects with your Google Cal or your Outlook calendar. And I can block out the times that I'm working, that I'm not working. But when you want someone to make an initial call with you, let's say they want to do a discovery call with you, you can set it up, right? One, use a link to book time with you, right? And I can show you, this is what it looks like on my web page. Like there's a button and they click that button and it takes them to my Biomechanic calendar. So this bit gets embedded in my web page and it takes them to the Biomechanic calendar when they click on it. But at the bottom here, you see I'm available Monday to Friday, right? But down here, I'm just going to uncheck that. You can require payment on booking too, so you can connect a payment processor to it. But I can decide, like, if I want them to fill out a form, let's say I do the FDN lifestyle and medical history form, do the FDN metabolic chaos scorecard, or I want them to sign a contract, a terms of service agreement, right? Those are all built into Biomechanic. So when I type like the first 3 letters, it just pulls up, and all of this can happen when they make that appointment. It all gets sent to them. So they'll get an email asking them to log into the platform and complete their forms. So this is the type of stuff that I was saying, like in the past, you kind of have to manually email people all of these things yourself. Now, when someone books an appointment with you, this is the only thing they need. The only thing you need to do is like put the link onto your web page or wherever in your email marketing or whatever. They make that appointment and then all of this happens and gets triggered with them. So once I update this, then it means that, is it updating or is my computer stuck? I don't know what's happening. Click the update button. I think my computer's stuck. But the idea is that it becomes very, very effortless, so that you're not spending a lot of manual time doing all of these really tedious tasks. Like, they're so tedious, and they could all be avoided because you've got technology now to save you from doing all of that. So the functional summary is probably one of the biggest differentiators when it comes to like what's going on with Biocanic, and also the fact that it integrates with so many other technology. So it integrates with let me get into that. I'm going to pull this off the screen. Integrates with let's go back here. It integrates with your Oura Ring. It integrates with Fitbit. It integrates with Garmin, Temp Drop for women who are tracking their cycles and fertility, your Withings, Keto Mojo, Thea for the CGM, continuous glucose monitor. And then all of these different labs as well are included. Like, you can order from all of these different places for labs. I think my mouse just died on me. All right, here we go. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's like the internet froze, the mouse froze, and I'm like, what is happening? And then, of course, you have like integrated billing. So you can have Square or Stripe built into it as well. And then over 200 labs are processed using Biocanic. And if there's something that you want them to add to it, they'll do it for you, you know? So that's what's super cool about it. Like, I just think it's, you know, again, with practice management and business management, integrates with FullScript, it integrates with Go High Level, G Suite, all these super cool things, which is not what any of the other platforms do. Like, they don't all integrate with all these various helpful things. So I feel like you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, to be honest, by using something else. Because I paid a lot more for Healthy, and I didn't get half of this, and nobody saw anything that I was doing. So that was really hard. So I kind of think like that's actually like a great place for us to sort of to take a pause.
Sure.
Because the integrations is one thing, the automations is the other amazing thing. So you get the integrations, you get the automations, and then you get the automatic processing of the labs, where you get that incredible functional summary, so that you can at a glance have it, you know, like actually know who you're talking to when you get on a call with them, you know? So for me, I'm going to stop sharing.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ray.
Stop sharing. I've lost you. I have no idea where you are. I have like 15 windows open right
Yeah,
now.
no, well, I'm here. We're all good. We look great. I know that you have a hard stop in 2 minutes. I have a meeting coming up as well. I did message them. Guys, here's a couple of quick things. One, if we could get a thank you for Ray, we'll try to buff through some questions real quick. I do need to say this, so it's super important. I know everyone here has been receiving this extremely well. I'm glad that they're actually seeing how amazing Biocanic and all these things are. I need you guys to understand one thing first. If any of you are being a little quieter, because this always happens, right? You know this, because you're actually overwhelmed by this, here is the great news. You don't need any of this to not only have an FDN business, but to have a six-figure FDN business. You know how I know it? Because people are still doing it right now, and Reed started this whole thing without any of these technologies. So the second that you start to feel that overwhelm, I want you to take a moment, you breathe, and remember, okay, wait, this is to make my life easier, not harder. So you can do it bit by bit. You start learning as you need it. And what I would say too, I like that you broke down the lean expenses for the business, right? And I mean, you could go even leaner than that, right? You can be malnourished for the business if you need to. I've sold clients without a website, friends.
Anorexic for your business.
Okay, well, yep, I was trying to stay within politically correct. Thank you, Ray. Yes, all right. And we just lost viewers. No, I'm kidding, we didn't. But seriously, even if the $2,000 a year was like, oh my gosh, Evan, Ray, that's a lot. No problem. This is what I would like you to do. Get your first one or two clients doing one of the many other methods that we teach, and you can budget. Either that first client all goes to that lean stuff, or the first and second client. You take a little bit from both. And then all those subscription models, by the way, are cheaper when you pay for the year up front instead of going month by month.
Yeah.
So there's always another way to do this. If you feel overwhelmed, you got to pause and breathe, because there's a bunch of other ways to do this. This stuff is amazing. Yes, obviously there's a bit of a learning curve. Some of you guys are seeing fancy stuff today. I promise you, and some of you guys clearly got this, which is great. This is all to make your life easier. It's all from people who have been through this, thought through this a million times, and have just made it more convenient for you. So I just wanted to say that. And sorry, that took 2 minutes, so we're on the hour. Is it really hard, or you got like 1 minute or 2 minutes?
We got 1 minute. There was one question I really wanted to get to. I've lost it. I have no idea where it went, but I think it was from Elaine. She was saying there is no discount. She was asking if there was a discount, but what I was saying, like, we're sweetening the deal. You can buy this and you will get a 1 hour session with me to set it up for you. So if you buy it as part of Black Friday, you would actually get me one-on-one working with you to get it set up.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? I
Yep.
want to say that maybe 2 more times so that she hears. Yes. Yeah. You will get a 60-minute session with setting up your business in a box, and maybe looking at your biomechanic as well, making sure that that's all set up properly too.
Just
Oh, I see another question there.
I just wanted to see all the thank yous, and this is a rapid fire one. Then, guys, I'm sorry to skip anything. We got to hop off. I'll be back at 4:00 Eastern with our COO and Jen Maleka doing something we've never done before, which is program comparison. We will show you how we compare to IIN, FMU, all the things, Chris Kresser, all of it. And remember, there's $2,000 off the FDN course until the end of the day, December 1st. Final question here, then both of us got to go. So Lexi, I know she's actually finishing up the FDN course. She said, Ray, want to help with setting up biomechanic, automating things, and cracking down on marketing. Would I need a one-on-one training for that?
Yeah, I would say, if you really want to get, nail it quickly so that you're not spending 3 years spinning your wheels, and you could just get it done in 3 weeks, for sure. Like, what is that expression? If you want to go far, go together. If you want to go far, go together. So don't go alone. Like, definitely invest in yourself, invest in the fact that, like, I don't want to spend 6 months trying to figure this out and pulling out all my hair. Or in my case, it took me 7 years to create that. Right. So the whole point is, like, if you work with somebody who's done it before, who actually knows all the pitfalls, then you're not going to be spending all that time being wasted. Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then just some amazing thank yous. So much more confidence in making the investment for FDN. That's huge, because I know you've been on all month, Andrew. So thank you so much for that. And a lot of people just saying they can't wait. So I apologize. I promised we would not go over. We're only 2 minutes, so I'm doing okay. I'm sure we'll have Ray back in the mix sooner rather than later. Remember, you guys get access to her. I should have said this. In the training group, once a month, she hops on with y'all. And, wow, I've been in Texas too long. That is embarrassing. I don't say y'all. That's not something I do, guys. That's crazy. That was crazy. And then in the graduate group, she's on with you guys once a week, not including any of the other things that we talked about today. Awesome. So, Ray, I can let you go. And